Okay, we're up to demonstration video. Let me show my screen here. Here we go. All right, we're up to demonstration video number 9 for the new Southern Pest Control scheduling and accounting system. And this one is going to deal with the process of how we're going to, once appointments are produced or being run, how we're going to account for that information in the new system. And it's going to be very different from the current system because we're going to have our technicians call in their appointment results for every single appointment to the dispatch department. And they're basically going to put all the information that's currently on our service ticket, the paper service tickets that we fill out. They're going to put that or call that information in, and we're going to put it into the Navision system. So that includes the production, payment, and chemical information. Again, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with our service ticket that the technicians fill out when they complete a service. And basically, again, we're going to put all that information into the system so that it'll be available in the future. And it really it's going to replace our current paperwork process. Now, as most of you know, the day after we run the appointments, all the paperwork is faxed or scanned into our system, and we take the route sheets and we update CMS, lead management, and the Navision system. And it's a separate process. It's inefficient. There's a lot of triple work going on. Well, by replacing that paperwork process with the technicians calling in, there'll be a one-time updating, one-time posting, because every customer is only going to have one account because we're combining all our systems into one. So again, all of the updating as far as a customer account service orders will be done by the dispatch department, and that will be the only thing that will be necessary to update their accounts. It'll give us real-time information. We'll know almost immediately after the appointment is run exactly what's happened, or maybe a few hours after, instead of waiting till the next day to know the results of our appointments. And it's also going to allow us to store the service ticket information in Navision. Now, a prior video I showed how we're going to be able to email the service tickets to customers, and actually it's automatic. Whenever we post a service order to a customer account, they will receive an email with the service ticket information. So we think this, again, will eliminate the paperwork process, real-time posting. It'll be a lot more efficient, and it'll work a lot better than our current system. One other thing too I'd like to mention in regards to the real-time information, and if appointment does not go through, maybe it's a no-show, customer cancels at the door, or maybe that needs to be reset for some reason, the marketing and customer service departments will be able to get that information, again, almost real time, instead of waiting the next day to find out what happened. Okay, so specifically what I'm going to do in this video, we're going to have service orders listed, and I'm going to show exactly what the dispatch department would do as the technicians call in results of appointments. And we're going to show what happens with appointments that are completed exactly as the way they're set. We're going to show appointments that are incomplete, appointments that need to be, or service items that need to be changed, appointments that need to be canceled. We're going to show how dispatch will take a credit card payment. It's exactly the same as the way our marketing and customer service take credit card payments, which we demoed in a prior video. I'm going to show the customer statement, what that looks like after we post the services to their account. I'm going to show the customer invoice register, which is basically their service history. Again, it's something that's a report that will be available after we post their account. I'm going to talk about that, again, that electronic service ticket that we've discussed in a prior video. And then I'm going to show another report, service item after report, which is going to be the report that we will use to account for all of our appointment information after they go through production. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go into the system here, and let me get back to the opening screen here. So the first thing I'm going to do to simulate being in the dispatch department and how they will handle daily appointments, I'm going to go to our service order list. And those of you who've watched the prior video on the service order list, which is right here, you would know that we can pull up service orders by allocation date, which is the date that the appointments are running. So I'm going to put in today's date, August 31st. Okay, and you hear the service orders that are running today. You see the service order numbers, the customer numbers. It has their address, and then it also has who created the service order, what department they're in, and then you see the service order number, like service order, or excuse me, the technician number, resource number. Like you see, this one's scheduled for Brian. We've got several in here. I believe this is Roy Foster. And also, and again, this is what to be more realistic, because we'll have obviously a lot more appointments running on a daily basis. The dispatch department would probably add a filter for the technician number and then pull it up by technician. So they would go in and say, okay, I'm working with Roy today. I know he's going to be calling me with appointments. Let me pull up his schedule. And here I can pull up each individual service order. But I'm going to remove this filter for now, since we don't have that many to work with here for this demo. So the first thing is I'm going to pull up a service order, and I'm just going to demonstrate again, or go through the process of what dispatch would do as the technician calls in this appointment. So let's start with the very first one here. And again, one thing too to keep in mind is this is the exact same form, the exact same part of this system that the appointment setter is working on. So the appointment setter and the dispatch department are both working on the same service order. That's a big change from the way that we operate now, where we've got all these separate systems. This is so much more efficient because we've put everything into one system. Okay, so now dispatch has taken over this service order. Brian is running it. We'll pretend it's about 4:30. He's finished the service, and he's calling this in. So he would call dispatch and say, hey, I'm at my 4 o'clock, service order 755, customer number MD06183, and I performed the stink bug service exactly as is, and we need to go ahead and post it to production. As per the service order, I'm collecting the $165 down payment here. Again, remember, and this has been in prior videos, that this field here, customer down payment, is the amount that the customer has agreed that they're going to pay for the service, or pay the technician at the time of the service. So in this simulation, we're saying, okay, the customer's paying the full $165. It's check number, say 555. So then we'd go down here and we'd ask, Brian would give the chemical information. And I don't even know what we use for stink bugs, but I'm going to just pick something here. I'm going to say you spray Taurus, and let's say get quantity. It's say what's 5 gallons. Again, it may not make sense, but that's okay for this demo. And again, let's say he sprayed it in the yard, and then we need to put down either linear feet, or we're probably going to also do something so we can account for square footage. But I'm just going to say for this, how about 200? Then it's going to ask for application equipment used, and we'd say put something like spray rig here. Then we got this field here for notes that will also go on the service ticket, maybe something specific to this service. I'm going to put, maybe I'll just put square footage here. Okay. So this one's very simple, and I imagine a lot of these will be like this. And one thing too, we need to add the target pest, where the appointment goes through production exactly the way it was set. Again, it was set up for $165 stink bug service, customer paying, in full with a check, which is what they're doing. So in order to complete this appointment and post it to their customer account into our general ledger, the appointment set, or the person in dispatch, would go here to this button here for post. and then hit OK. Just hit yes. Okay, and now that has been posted to their account, and we'll go take a look at that real quick. Now I'm going to our customer list, and I'm going to go in and find okay, so here's that account that we were just working on. I'm going to open it up. Okay, and I'm going to go to reports, and I'm going to the invoice register report. And this shows all the services for this customer's account. And you can see here it's posted now. We've got a stink bug service for $165, and then you got the actual transaction date here, this posting date here of 8/31/15, which is the date that that we completed the service. This document date here is the date that we created the initial service order. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the service order list, and we're going to just, again, simulate that we're in the dispatch department, and I'm going to pull up appointments by allocation date, which is today's date. Okay, and again, these are all the appointments running today, so let's pull up the next one. Let's do this one, service order 995. Okay, Garrett is running this one. All right, and this is a renewal, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're just going to say this goes through exactly the way it was set up. So Garrett calls in, says, yep, I've done the renewal. Everything's fine. They're making a down payment of $70. I've got the check. The check number is 400 with an MSC. This is the billing code. And let's see, they're going to put that in here. That would be actually 06. And then he would ask for whatever chemical information. So we would put whatever chemical info that we use for the outside spray. Let's say we just put some granules down for the outside spray. Let's say perimeter of home. Say it's about 100 linear feet. And just put hand spreader. So again, we could put some sample, a note here, you know, if whatever would be appropriate. And this will go on the completed, on the finished service ticket. Also, too, another note field that would go on the completed service ticket is this general note field here. So let's say that he told the customer that maybe there was an issue with some type of water leak or something. We could put that here. And then when we emailed the service ticket to the customer, something like that. Should be garage. I'm going to click on their customer account real quick because I want to check. Okay, we've got an updated email field. Okay, good. All right, so again, everything was completed the way the appointment setter set it up. So after Garrett called it in and gave the results, said, hey, it was exactly the way it was set up, go and hit post. And then this service will be posted to the customer account. Notice here we got this email service invoice is successfully sent to customer number. Since we have an email address on file, the results of the appointment, again, the electronic service ticket, are being emailed to this customer. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's pull up one more here. Let's try this one, 987, and go in, and we'll do another simulation with this one. Okay, this is one we've got 1-year termite service plan, daily deal mosquito. We've got voucher number. So we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll say it goes through exactly the way it was set up. So who is running this one? This is Roy. So Roy would call it in and say, yep, I'm doing the termite, the initial termite inspection. Everything's fine. The house qualifies. I'm doing the mosquito service for the daily deal. That's going through, no problem. So they've put in, we've got the coupon amount in here for the daily deal. We've got the voucher information. The appointment setter would have put this in information in the system. And then the dispatch department would go in and just put in the chemical information as Roy calls it in. So let's say this one we'll do Taurus. And just say again, I apologize if these quantities don't make any sense. Let's say yard, linear feet, let's say 200. Application equipment, spray rig, maybe we'll just put square footage here. I'm going to put in a second chemical just to show you can put in as many chemical, select as many chemicals as needed. So I'll put the granules down again. Say these are put around their perimeter. So this is 100. Something like that. Okay, so we've got chemical information in. Again, we're completing exactly. Remember, this was initially filled out by the person who set the appointment. So they're just confirming that everything was run and completed as is. And then they're going to go in, now that it's completed, and hit post. And OK. Okay, and this is confirming that we're sending the email to this customer with all the information that we just submitted as far as chemical, application equipment, location of applications, and exactly what we did and how much the customer paid. Okay, let's see. Okay, now we're going to do, as we do some more of these are going to be a little bit more complicated. We're going to start getting into scenarios where the appointments weren't completed exactly as they were set. So, okay, now we're going to pull up service order 984. Okay. All right, what we're going to do with this one, with this one, we've got a pest control reservice, and whoever set this up didn't put in or I'm the one who did it, I didn't put in a target pest, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. But in this case, we're putting in we're doing a renewal and a pest control reservice. So in this case, we're going to simulate that for some reason that we couldn't do the PC reservice. I don't know, maybe something related to weather, rain, or whatever, but say we couldn't do that, but we could complete the renewal. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to remove this pest control service from this service order, and we're going to post the renewal since that was completed, and then we're going to create it. We've got functionality to create a new service order for the reservice so we can reset that appointment. So what we would do is we click this box, and this is what would happen in the dispatch department. They would click this box here for pending for posting, which will remove this service from the service order when it's posted. Now let's say, again, everything else goes through the way it was set up. We've got $356 for the renewal. They've already paid $44.50 via credit card. It's going to be 7 installments of $44.50. We need to put in a billing code. I'll do that here. And then we need to put in some chemical information, and I'll put something in really quick. So we got chemical information in now. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we reset the pest control reservice, but the renewals is being completed. So what we'll do is we'll hit post, hit OK. Okay, so again, we're sending the email for the completed service order. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to go find the service order that we just created for that pest control reservice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the service order list. I'm going to put in order date, which is today's date. And I see two of them here now. It's 3:26 is the time. And so I can see this is the service order that I just created. I'm going to open this up. And here we see that pest control reservice here. So we've created a whole new service order that the department who set this appointment, which is customer service, and B. McMichael is the assigned user ID. They can work, or that person can work this service order to reset the appointment. And then what we do is we fill in this action required field here of reset appointment. So then we could run a list of all the appointments that need to be reset, which we showed in a previous demo. And so after dispatch does this, they're finished with this one. You know, they may want to put a note or something in here, maybe to help the appointment set, or something like, you know, reset due to weather, something like that, and then hit OK. And again, if we wanted to simulate here, if we change this filter to action required 1, and then went in and selected the action of reset appointment, you can see here, this one here appears. It's sorted by date, by order date. So here it is here down at the bottom, and it's just waiting for somebody to retrieve this service order and then reset the appointment by going to line, resource allocations, and then setting it for a later time. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and set it for Roy on Thursday right now. It's that simple. Okay. So we're going to go back to the service order list and go back to allocation date and just go through some more scenarios as far as posting and how the dispatch department will handle each one. So again, I'm pulling up today's date for allocation date, and we'll pull up appointments to run. Okay, this one here, let's see, number 991, or yep, 991. Okay, Luis is running this one. Okay, so we've got, this one actually is a 1-year termite and pest plan, and we're running a mosquito service with it. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to simulate that we couldn't do the mosquito service, similar to the one that we just did, where we couldn't do the pest control. So so Luis calls it in and says, "Yep, I'm doing the IC, PC, everything's fine, but I can't do the mosquito service. Maybe it's too wet outside." For one thing, here's no target pest filled in here, so I'm going to take care of that. Let's see too. Okay. All right. So anyway, with their customer supposed to pay $200 down. So first thing, again, they're completing the termite and pest. So Luis would give some chemical information. Let's say he used Fuse for the ants. I'll put this down. Okay, again, apologize if that doesn't make any sense, but I just want to put in, you know, some chemical information. And let's say he puts some glue boards down. Okay. All right, so then dispatch would deal with this mosquito service that needs to be reset. So same as the prior appointment, they would check this box here. and then notice this price just changed from 460 to 356 because we removed the mosquito service. So then we'd also need to remove the coupon that's here. Okay, and let's say now, since we're not doing the mosquito, the customer says, well, I'm just going to pay $70 down. Notice automatically the installments change as you change the payment and coupon information. Okay, so if they're going to go ahead, and let's say they're going to pay with check number 500, and MSC code in this case would be 06. And so we know, okay, can't do the mosquito, that's been checked. So when we hit the post button, what's going to happen is the renewal will be posted to their account, and then a new service order would be created for the mosquito service. So I hit post, hit OK. Okay, we sent the email with the service ticket information. Now I'm going to get out of the service order list here, or I'm going back to the service order list. I'm going to pull it up by order date and put in today's date, because we created this service order today. And here this one is right now, because it's about 3:32 in the afternoon. I hit edit, open it up, and you see here's that mosquito service just sitting here. Now we need to there was a $20 coupon here, so we need to come up with some mechanism maybe to make it more efficient as far as how to save this information, so they wouldn't just have to write it down. I mean, I guess we could do that for now and they could retype it. Not the most efficient way. But okay, so that's sitting there, and then what we do is action required, reset appointment. And again, like we just demonstrated, we can go in and pull a list of all service orders with the action required of reset appointment. And again, maybe we put a note in here, too wet for mosquito service. Something like that. And then that's saved. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the service order list based on what's running today. We'll just continue to work these. So let's try this one here, number 996. See what's going on with this one. Okay, Brian's running this one. It's renewal. Okay. All right, here's one. We're going to say that Brian actually finds active termites, and we'll show how that's handled. So he's running a renewal. It's a termite only. He finds active termites. So what we'd want to do is create a service order where we could set an appointment for termites, for a termite treatment. So first of all, Brian would give whatever chemical he used for, say, the outside spray. Again, I'll do something with granules. Okay. All right, and then and let's say this case, just to we'll say the customer, instead of paying 40, they say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pay this, or I'm going to pay, say, $60 down instead of 40. So you notice the installments automatically change. So we put in the check number, the billing code, and then we'd go in here, and okay, so the renewal's going through, but we need to add a service, or we need to add the termite treatment. Now, the way we would do that, we would go here and select no charge termite treatment from the service item template. And let's say it's going to be a 5-hour treatment. The standard hours in the system are 3, but we would change it to 5 here. And then we would click this pending for posting button. Now, what happens is when we post this service order, we will create a new service order for this termite treatment that will be waiting there for someone in the customer service department to set. So we'll hit post. Okay. All right, I'm going to hit OK to go back to the service order list, and I'm going to pull it up by order date. Okay, and here's this, it's 336. This is the one we just created for this termite treatment. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the action required field for set termite treatment. And then maybe I'll put some notes in specifically about the treatment. I know we'll have to, at some point we'll match this up with a graph, but maybe we put something like 5-hour treatment. Downstairs living room, something like that, if I could type. So again, what we're doing is, like I said, we're creating a new service order. And it goes back to the department that set the appointment and also the person who created the original service order. And then they can pull up all the service orders they need or buy this set termite treatment. And so they can just work this service order. And again, whenever it comes time to actually set it, they go to resource allocations. And actually, there's no treaters set up in area 3. So interesting. Real quick, we'd have to go to the schedule notes and request a termite treater for area 3. We'd request from Amy. We would do that right here. But again, just so everybody understands, it's all about if it doesn't go through production, if or either part of it or we need to create a new service item, we're creating a new service order. Okay, so now let's go back, and we're back to dispatch, pulling it up by what's running today. Okay, let's see here. Let's do this one here, 1005. Okay, and what do we have running here? All right, we've got a 1-year termite and pest plan, 356. They've paid $100 in advance, already paid via credit card payment. You can see there because this field here for customer down payment is blank. So let's say in this one, what would happen if we were no-showed? Okay, so Roy has gone out to run this appointment. Customer's not answering the door. First thing is that dispatch would do is they would alert the marketing department that customer not answering door. I know we do now this in the logistics system now, but this alert will take the place of that. There's a prior video on this that explains the alert lists and how an alert is emailed to everybody in the marketing department. So they would click that there, say customer not answering the door. And also, by the way, it takes a few seconds for this alert to complete, but we've got something figured out that's going to make it a lot faster. So let's say it's just a no-show. Can't get a hold of a customer. Dispatch is trying to call. They're not answering the phone. So what they would do here is they wouldn't need to do anything with pending for posting because this isn't going through production at all. What they would do is just go here to action required and put something here. Probably I think we would use reset appointment. Whoops. There we go. We got reset appointment, and then they could you can see here, maybe they would update this and put something like no show. And so again, the marketing department would know exactly what happened. They need to reset. The appointment was no showed. They'd also want to go in, and when I do this, it's gonna kick us out of this service order. But the last thing they would do is they would go remove this from the resource allocation, so they would deallocate this appointment. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's move on to the next one here. This one here, 998. Let's see what scenario we can come up with this one. Okay, this one here. All right. This one here, notice here, customer down payment 150. They're supposed to give the technician pay at the time of service. But this scenario, let's say that the customer wants to give a credit card payment, which they can do, and it's exactly the way that we would take a credit card payment if if they were paying, when the appointment was set. So we'd go down here to the payment tab, click credit, put an amount of 150, go up here to the top to submit credit card receipt. Okay, now it comes up where they ask for card number, the expiration date, want a security code, and again, we're not linked to a credit card system, so I'm just going to hit cancel, and that'll allow us to invoice the payment here, which posts the payment to the customer account. Okay, notice now they have a balance of negative 150 here. And then what we need to do is go into advanced payments, and this is where we would apply this credit card to this service. Hit OK. And there it is. Now you see that advanced down payment is sitting there at 150. But we got to make sure then that we go in and remove this payment here, the customer down payment of 150, because the system will actually add the two together. So, okay, so now they've paid the 150 via credit card. And so we're doing the renewal and the mosquito service. So we'll put in some sample chemical information. Oops. Okay, so we got the chemical information there. We've taken care of the payment. We're going to put in our billing code. Okay, and we're completing both services. So we can just go in and then hit post. Pretty simple. Okay, well, let's see. We'll pull up this next one here, and we'll come up with a scenario for this one. Okay, this is just a renewal for 133, but let's say in this case that the technician goes out and he upgrades them to a pest control, a combination contract. So notice here that the customer's already paid $133 in advance for the service. So first thing we're going to do, so he goes out to run it, he calls it in and says, hey, they're going to go ahead, I'm going to do a pest control service, they're going to get a 1-year pest control plan. So we go here to service item template. And find, there should be 1-year pest control. Here we go. Click here. Hit refresh. Notice now, again, we'll leave this at 250. It may not be the price that we would use, but notice that the total service charge has been updated. It's adding these two together. So let's say he does a service for ants. And then also too, it's important for commission purposes that we record this text sale. Let's see who this is. So this is Luis. I can find him on the list. Here we go. And the advertising source would be text sale. All right, so then let's say that the customer said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just give you a check for the remaining balance, which would be $250. Put that here. Notice the net amount goes to zero. We're not billing them for anything. Put in a check number, say 120. There's no billing code, so we'll put in some chemical information. We'll leave that as none. Okay. So put in chemical. We've updated the payments. In this case, we added to the services because he's upgraded their plan. And then we would go in and just hit post. So this is posted to their account. Okay, let's pull up this next one here and see what's happening with this one, what we can come up with. Okay, this one we've got a renewal running with a pest control reservice. And let's say in this case that we can't complete the reservice or the outside spray, but we're going to complete the renewal. So what we would do is we would check the pending for posting here, which will remove the outside or the pest control reservice from this service, and then we'd go in here to service item template, and then we would add an outside spray. Then we'd click pending for posting, so we can add that to the service order that we're going to create after we post this. Okay, so in this scenario, the customer has a $20 credit on their account. They're paying $50, and we'll leave that the same. Say it's going to be check number 55 or 444. Their billing code will be 6. So then we put in some chemical information. Okay. And just for review, again, the electronic service ticket we talked about, this general note field will show on that. So we'll put some type of note in here. It could be anything. It could be something like, you know, related to moisture situation. Okay, but remember what's going to happen is we can't complete the reservice, we can't complete the outside spray, but when we post this, because we've checked these two boxes, we're going to create a new service order for these two line items. So I hit post. Again, okay. Now I'm going to go back here to our service orders, and I'm going to look at the service orders that we created today. And here's this account. You see it's about 350. We just created this one. Okay. You see there we have the reservice and the outside spray. So probably put some type of note here like, you know, can't reset due to weather. And then dispatch would click for action required, the reset appointment button. Pretty simple. All right, I think we have one more running today that we'll work with. Okay, in this case, it's a 2-year termite and pest control at 572. And let's say what's happening with this one is that they decide they want a 1 year. So it's sitting in the system like this, and technician calls it in and says, you know what, the customer says they just want to do the 1 year contract. So what the dispatch department would do is they would actually go in and delete this line. I just kicked us out of that service order. Let me go pull it back up here. Okay, actually what they should have done is they should have added the new line first before they deleted it. But what they'd want to do is go in and then just put in the 1 year. Actually, let me go back here, kind of go backwards here. I'm going to put that 2 year back in. Okay, so what they would do is they would go into service item template, change it to a 1 year, then go in and delete this line. Actually, that's a 1 year. Well, let's say it's a 1 year pest control. I selected the wrong line, but we'll leave it like that for now. And then they'd go in and just change whatever the payment information. Let's say the customer is going to pay 80 and we're going to bill them for 170. It's going to be 7 installments. They would just change that here. And also, too, they would need to go in and record who sold it. All right, then put the chemical information in. Taurus, standard quantity. Okay, so basically, again, they would just remove the first line item, replace it with the correct one, and then they could go in and post it. Okay, and that's it. So basically, the appointments are either being posted or we're creating new service orders like we have here. Okay, one thing I want to do real quick is I want to go in and we'll look at some of the customer statements or some of the services that we just created. So I'm going to go in and put in today's date here for this report. What I'm doing here, I'm just getting a list of the services that we just posted so I can go in and pull up some customer accounts so we can look at their statements to see what those look like. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to customers. Okay, so this is one of the accounts that we just worked with. And you can see, let's go, first of all, let's look at their service ticket, the information that we inputted, and that's here on, back up real quick, on the posted service invoice list. So I click here, I hit view, and this is one, we did the renewal with the mosquito. It's $455 total. They had a $20 Facebook coupon. They paid $150 down, 7 installments of $40.71. And here's the chemical information that we used. And again, all of this information was emailed to the customer. It also shows who ran the appointment. This was Jonathan. We also, if you go back to their customer card and go to the reports tab, you can see here statement. So I'm clicking on the statement. And this is what we'll send to the customer, for billing purposes, and they'll mail this back in with a payment. So you can see here it says exactly what we did, gives an invoice number, due date, and then the amount of the installment that's due. It also gives them the amount, to pay in full. If you wanted to see just their service history for this customer, you could click on Invoice Register and hit Preview. And here's their service history. With this one, we have a prior history because in the current system, which we use for the current Maryland system, which we upgraded for the test system, you can see their prior services here. Let's pull up one more here and see what it looks like. Let's try MD06424. How about this one? Let's do MD00420. Here we go. Okay, so first thing, again, we're going to Reports tab, Posted Service Invoice List. Okay, we're going to select this one here. Again, this is the one of the ones we just posted. So here is the, you can see we did a renewal for $356. Here's that general note that I was talking about. You can see about the water leakage in the garage that's saved here. Then you see total charge, payment information, the installment amounts, and you also see the chemical that was used. And again, keep in mind, all of this information is coming from the technicians calling it in instead of putting everything on a route sheet, or service ticket that we deal with paperwork the next day. Same thing, that's what we do now in our current system to, so we can post to their accounts for service history and statements. Now we're creating the statement, directly from the posting that's done from the technicians calling in. Okay, so I hope from watching this video, I'm sorry, we got one more thing I want to cover. I apologize. The service item after report, and that is here. And what this is going to take the place, or basically allow us to do all the reporting for the system, or for each day's posting, I should say. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to preview this one. And you can see we've got all the items here that we'd want accounting for. We've got what the services that we did. We've got the actual posting, or the posting date, the date that we did the service. We've got the amounts. We've got who ran it. We've got their customer number, the service order number. We got the department and the users that set it. We've got the advertising sources. We've got who gets credit for the commissions. We've got target pests. Just about anything that we would need to run a report. We've got the coupons. We've got the daily deal information. And if you click over, it actually totals here similar to our current cover sheet. And then also what we're going to do is with this report, we can put it into a spreadsheet, which will allow us to manipulate this data via pivot table, so we can get all the totals that we would need by service type, or by appointment setter, whatever we would need. So anyway, there's going to be a follow-up video specifically on how we're going to use this report, but I just wanted to show that we're taking all the information that's relevant for the services that we complete, and we're putting it into this report. Okay, so I think everybody after watching this should get a pretty good idea of what's going to happen when we run the appointments, how we're going to account for that information by, the technicians calling in the completed appointments to the dispatch department. And that's going to conclude this video.